Hello, and thanks for joining our conversation about our favorite scams. I'm Nancy Patton with the Community Involvement Team at Canvas, and I'm betting you realize that these really aren't our favorite scams, just some of our most common ways fraudsters are operating at the moment. I am so pleased to have Sarah Igo from the Canvas Fraud Team here to share her insights with us. So Sarah, tell us your title and what you do at Canvas.
I am the Manager of Fraud Investigations, and I oversee our hardworking fraud team. We are behind the scenes trying to protect our members from sometimes themselves and also make sure their money stays safe and secure.
And I know you've been doing this long enough to see a little
yeah.
bit of everything. Some really clever scams, some
really
stupid
scams.
criminals, and some very sad stories.
Yes.
So, of course, my favorite was the driver's license picture that had him and his girlfriend in the photo section.
That is a favorite among all us in fraud and in law enforcement. And the moral of the story is no matter how much you love your girl, she doesn't belong in your driver's license photo.
So that's amusing, but tell us what scams or scam singular you're seeing a lot of right now.
What we're seeing a lot of right now are IRA scams. And how that works is usually it's a romance scam. And I meet somebody online and I fall madly and deeply in love, and we're engaged in about 2 weeks, which is normal when you think about it. That's usually how
2
most
weeks?
2 weeks. I'm a little hesitant, I don't want to rush into things, so 2 weeks seems about okay. And then my beloved sends me a check because, they don't have a bank account of their own, or there's some problem, and they ask me to put it to open an IRA and put the check into there. And the reason the fraudsters are now starting to use IRA accounts is because they're thinking it's going to fall off of our radar. It's an IRA account. What bad can happen with an IRA account? So we get this large check. I have one here for $39,500. And you know what makes it legitimate? It says IRA rollover in the memo section.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's got a shiny seal.
It's got a shiny seal.
It's big.
It's a big dollar amount, so
it
it should be a bigger
paper?
check.
Yeah.
If you hold it up, it says original document and all that good stuff. But here's the first red flag, we call them red flags, is it's from an individual. I would think if it's an IRA, it should come from, I don't know, call me crazy, an IRA account, an investment account, a broker, not an individual. So what they'll do is my beloved will send me this check and I'll put it in the IRA, and I'm thinking, Canvas, they're not going to pay attention. It's in an IRA account. And they'll put it on a minimum hold, and then in a couple days I'm going to start taking the money out. The problem that we're running into is Canvas is a little bit smarter than that. And and we're on to it. So we will see these checks, put them on a longer hold. So when I come in and say, my beloved needs money for whatever, to get his toenail fixed, I need to take out $10,000 because it's a really high-class toenail.
Yeah.
Then out the money goes, and I'm actually sending it on to another fraudster. And here's why, if anybody ever gets angry when we start asking questions about a check or extending a hold, it's not that we're nosy. Well, we are nosy, but it's not that we're just want to get up in your business. We are trying to protect you, because if this $39,500 check, when it gets returned, guess who's on the hook? The
Whoever
member.
put that in their
Whatever
account.
you put into your account, you're responsible for. So there's two morals to that story. Number one is, if we're asking questions, we have a reason. We're not asking them to be nosy. We're not asking them to be intrusive. We're asking them to make sure that you, the member, are going to be okay with that transaction.
Protecting you before a problem starts.
Exactly. Not quite being entirely truthful is really only going to hurt you. Because again, once that money's gone, we can't get it back. And that breaks my heart. To have to say, Mr. Member, I'm so sorry, but you owe us $40,000. I would rather stop, because that's just so hard.
And Sarah, it's hard because the average member, the average person, sees one of these, but you're seeing how many in a week?
Oh, we can see 2 or 3 a week.
Yeah.
They were really hitting hard and heavy, and I swear there was a little fraudster network that suddenly is like, oh, Canvas is on to us, and they're starting to trickle down, but we're going to see more. And moral number 2 of that story is if somebody says, I don't have a bank account, run away.
Run away.
If they say, can you deposit this for me? Can you cash this for me? I don't have an account, or it's this or that, especially if it's somebody you met online. Online dating's great. I know a lot of people have had success, but really if you meet somebody online and then you've never met them face to face and suddenly they're professing mad, deep, crazy love for you and they want to get married.
And you know, Sarah, sometimes it sounds kind of obvious to us
It
that
is.
that's a scam. And the challenge is fraudsters are professionals.
Very much.
They are very, very, very good at what they do. They hit us at a moment of weakness.
Exactly. You're lonely, you're isolated, you're vulnerable.
You just
Maybe
lost
you just
your
lost
job.
a spouse or you just lost a job. That's where Canvas steps in because we understand that. And I don't expect anybody to live in our world because it's a little weird in there sometimes.
This is Canvas.
This
we
is-
can be a little unique.
you know, fraud can be a little bit hello. But again, that's why our branches are so awesome because they care and we have the empathy. And my team, we will call and we will ask and ask and ask. And sometimes if we say no, it may sound mean, but we're saying, no, Nancy, we really want to make sure you're going to be okay. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
It's a team effort. When I do training, I always say metaphorically, or if you want to, physically, if the member's up for it, link arms with the member. Say, we're in this, shoulder to shoulder, side by side. Let's figure it out until we know for sure it's going to be okay.
And if it's legitimate, that's awesome.
Exactly. If it's
If it's
legitimate, I'm
not-
thrilled.
We just saved a big problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I can't I'm good at my job, but I can't get the money back.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we can't say, oh, it's okay, don't worry about the $30,000. It just, in the real world, it doesn't work that way. So our goal is to stop it before it goes all the way through. It's like, let us help you, let us protect you. I always joke, I'm Mama Bear. Let me be Mama Bear for this. Know that fraudsters are not going to take advantage of
And
you.
again, you're seeing fraud every day. Members see it once in a while
Yeah.
when they're targeted. And these people are professionals.
They're
This is their
slick.
job. They're very good at what they
Yep.
do. Yeah. So, Sarah, the IRA thing, anything else you're seeing right now that's a big,
Yes,
big
there's
deal?
been a couple of members that took some very significant losses. They get a phone call from somebody claiming to be from the FTC
Federal Trade Commission.
and the Federal Trade Commission will be investigating one of our branches because this story was the branch wasn't balancing at night.
So they've pulled in something else, not starting with the member, starting with a side story.
What they're doing with this is now, and this other member, the same thing, something was under investigation. They needed the member's assistance. And they're like, you can't tell anybody because you're helping. So now they're getting the member convinced that they're helping the government, they're helping an investigation, and they just keep talking and talking. And these people will talk so much they will wear the person down.
Yes.
And then the story goes, all right, we need you to go in and take cash out of your account. So we're the logic. We're going, but again, we're looking afterward. But if the member is caught up in it and they're saying, oh my gosh, this one gentleman was like, I need to do this because this is my credit union and something bad is going to happen. And then they told this gentleman, here's your story. He was supposed to tell us that he was buying high-end vehicles. So he started taking out all this cash, and the branch is like, whoa, again, we're not telling you can't have your cash. We want to make sure you're not getting scammed.
We just
Because
saw this happen.
We see it all the time. You don't. Let us help you. So the branch, are you sure? And I mean, he had everything. So the cash went out. Well, turns out what they then ask the person to do is go to a Bitcoin ATM. Fraudsters love them some Bitcoin because you really can't trace that at all. Once it's in this Bitcoin ATM, it's gone. I mean, it's like no clue. We can try and trace where a check goes. We obviously know where a wire goes. Bitcoin is out in the universe.
All gone.
$30,000 he sent to these fraudsters.
All gone.
All gone. And that's hard. And then romance scams.
Okay, so we've got the IRA, we've got the help us investigate,
Yep.
and then take some cash and go put it in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And now we've got,
I think one of my sadder stories is a gentleman met somebody online, of course, fell in love, of course, and she was supposedly in Florida. And he kept coming in and taking cash out and then trying to cash checks. And again, there's our branch teams. Our branch family was amazing. They're like, he goes, oh no, it's for my girlfriend. She's in Florida. So the branch does what they do. They call the fraud team. And I'm like, let me. So I called him and I'm like, let's, I'm so excited for you. This is great. Why don't you tell me? He goes, oh, she's gorgeous. I'm like, have you met her? No, but I've seen her picture. She's beautiful. So long story short, over a period of time, he took out $250,000.
$250,000.
He sent the majority of that in cash in FedEx envelopes. At one point, he was trying to take out $11,000 because he was going to fly to Florida that weekend and get married. I'm like, no. I had just, visions of him getting robbed in the airport. We tried our best to get other agencies involved, and they really couldn't do anything. And he and I talked and talked and talked. I spent hours on the phone with him, and sometimes you just can't stop people. And he ended up losing $250,000, and we ended up closing his account, which is sad.
So I just want to stress again that these people are professionals. They hit us when we're weak. Mm-hmm. There was a need for love. There was a need for attention. There was a pain point. There's something that makes really smart people vulnerable.
I always say there's an inverse relationship between desperation and common sense. So the more desperate you are, the less common sense. Again, that's where Canvas steps in, because we're a little bit removed from your situation and we can look at it differently and we can help you to figure out. We want our members to feel empowered. I want them to feel safe and comfortable with the decisions they're making. And if that's something that we can do through a conversation, I've met members in person and sometimes they just need a hug. So I'll just give a member a hug, let them cry on my shoulder for a little bit, and then we can sit down and we can talk and we can figure it out. I want them to know I've got members I've been with Canvas over 20 years. I have members from 15, 20 years ago that still call me. And that's what I love about Canvas, is that relationship we can build and develop. It's like, let us be there for you. Let us be your touchstone.
Let us be your expert.
Yep. I'm like, if you have a question, just give us a call.
So, of course, we've talked about this because we want to help people avoid being a victim. Can you give us just 2 or 3 real straightforward tips on those red flags to watch for, behaviors we can make habits?
Just 2 or 3, I could go on all day.
I know.
All right, your debit card is yours. Do not hand it out to anybody. Do not give them your PIN number.
Don't give them your PIN.
Just don't. I don't care if they say, oh, let me borrow it, I'll give you $50 and you won't get in trouble. They're hitting our younger members with this. And they're saying, oh, I'm just going to borrow your card. I'm going to put some money in. You can keep 50. You won't get in trouble because it won't be you on the video. Guess what? You're going to get in trouble. We will catch you.
It's your card.
It's your card.
PIN.
It's your PIN. As I said earlier, do not cash checks for people. If you hear the words, I don't have a bank account, run away. That's a huge red flag. The other thing is, do not give anybody your home banking login and password.
Nobody.
Not your mom, not your dad, nobody.
Home banking,
is yours. Login, because alone. Once you give that out, if I give that to you, you can get in my account, you can steal my $5, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, and I can change the password and I can have total control.
You will. Also, speaking of passwords, good job, Nancy. Change them regularly.
Oh, regularly? Nobody wants to change their passwords regularly.
It's a pain in the neck.
It is a pain.
It's a big pain in the neck. But here's what happens is we were thinking a lot of these fraudsters are getting in through members' emails, their home email. So once they can get into their email, and let's say you're doing something with Canvas, they're able to just finagle their way through your whole computer system, and then they have access to your account. So change your home email password at the minimum every 60 days. 60 to 90.
60 to 90 days,
And
changing
do
password.
that. Do not use the same password. There's something that's called I know. I'm a joy sucker. I can't help it.
Oh, you're
There's
making
something
it be
difficult. I want to
But
make it hard
wait,
for the
I could lose
fraudsters.
$250,000, or I could take some preventative action.
Let's go with a preventative action for 500, Nancy. Ding, ding, ding,
I'll take
ding.
door number 1.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's something called password stuffing. So if I use 123 Fluffy as my password on everything,
Oh.
and the hackers get a hold of 123 Fluffy, they're going to find all my accounts, all my information. They're going to stuff that password and see where it fits.
Well, wait, what if you change it to Fluffy123?
They may try that. They're a little smarter than
They're
the
smarter
average
than
criminal.
that?
Yeah, there's some dumb criminals, but most of these guys, this is what they do all day. You know, they're probably sitting in their mom's basement with a laptop. So
Sarah, thanks so much for sharing your expertise with us, and we really encourage you all to learn from Sarah.
change your passwords. Don't talk to strangers.
Stay alert.
Be alert. The world needs more alerts, and let your Canvas team help you. That's what we're here for. The fraud team, our whole mission is to protect our members and to protect our members from getting scammed. We hate scammers. Hate's a big word, but it's a big word to use for these guys. We love our members. We hate the scammers. Let us help you. We're here for you.
Improve your financial future by being alert and aware.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us.
Insured by NCUA.